Hey harmonizers, welcome to this video with Alfie the Mustang, and I show you some pretty fun updates, including this jumping in a Western saddle of all cases, as well as progressing to being in our winter camp, which is super exciting for him. So why is he jumping in a Western saddle? Well, this is Maisie, and she likes to do obstacles and Western riding, and jumping in a Western saddle is not super uncommon if you're doing obstacle type shows, because sometimes you have to jump over a bale of hay or a log or something, just like how you would if you were riding out on the trails and it's mimicking a mountain trail environment. You might have to go over a jump. So you don't usually have to jump super big, but there are little jumps for you to go over. But this is him now doing English tack, and this is with a different student that had just one lesson on him, just as something fun to try, riding a horse that's green over jumps rather than riding experienced jumpers like they had been doing. And she got to take over Alfie over his first jumps where he was cantering after them as well. So this is a little bit of the warm-up, and then just kind of working on that canter going around the arena. So just kind of getting to know each other first, and him going around in the English saddle, which you guys haven't really seen a whole lot of on our channel because most of it's been Western. And then as they get comfortable, you can see like they get a little bit more smooth going around together, and it's a little bit of miscommunication. And that happens sometimes when it's a young horse or it's a little bit of a green horse. You have to try and get used to each other's buttons. They're not used to being ridden by tons of different people all the time, so it can take a little bit more time to get used to each other, whereas horses that are kind of seasoned and used to being in lots of lessons or lots of different people, they tend to mesh better, more quickly, I should say, with new people, as opposed to Alfie, who's not bad for the new rider, but just kind of learning what their buttons are all about and what they actually mean. And so this is him now coming into the jump and working on doing his first canters after the cross rail. So you can see there, like the canter was a little bit late, cut the corner a little bit too. And it's sometimes really hard to prioritize, like when you're riding a green horse, you're not used to that. You're like, okay, they're asking for a canter, but like also riding straight and going into my corners, all of those things. And this is one of the things that really makes the difference between a horse trainer and just a good rider. And so this is a rider that's a good little rider and has been riding the competition horses, the horses that have more experience over fences. And then now we're giving you the experience of riding a horse that's green over jumps and doesn't have as much experience. And so now you're having to put those pieces together a little bit more, and you're prioritizing, okay, what is it that I'm asking the horse to do? I want them to go over the jump and then land and canter. And so there he finally got the canter nicely after the jump. So she's going to stop and give him some praise and give him a cookie. And it's just a really great opportunity. Once you get to that riding level, we want to push you out of your comfort zone and try some of these things, because then you just learn how to be much more effective as a rider, lets you transfer to new horses, and lets you help horses improve rather than expecting horses to always be teaching you the proper things to do. You get to help teach the horse. It's the other way around. So first we need horses to teach us, and then usually we switch over to us helping the horses learn. So now we're switching over to our Christmas concert. So this is Maisie riding in our little Christmas concert. We put on a fun little Christmas market and concert where we invite the public to come watch. We invite our other clients to come watch, and basically you get to choose your own song and make your own little routine up. We try to minimize how many obstacles we're setting up, because we do have lots of different people that come in and do the routine. So we just change the arena a little bit, and you do your little riding for your little song pattern. So you can see we've cut off part of the arena, so there's still lots of space to ride in, but as she comes around to the other side, you'll see that there's we've kind of used jumps to set up and block the arena side, so that way there's space for people to sit. But also we invite the local community to come and sell their own stuff. So local businesses. This time we had somebody who made their own Christmas ornaments, which were actually super cute, and some horsey ones, as well as somebody who designs their own water bottles and stainless steel mugs and things like that. It's a nice way to support the local community and also give people an opportunity to do a little bit of Christmas shopping for the holidays. So Alfie, you can see he's going around, he's doing a bunch of little things that Maisie's asking him to do. There you can see the audience set up on the other side, which is a lot of fun, and a little bit more wary going down to the far end of the arena. I think it's a little bit of him just not being used to doing the kind of show atmosphere where everybody's blocked on the other side. So it just adds another little element. But Maisie handled it really well. And then she's bringing him back to do some different obstacles and some other pieces. And so she's got him up on the little pedestal there. And you might think the routine's done, but she had a couple other little pieces to add in there. She does the little figure 8 around the boxes. And so it's just a fun way to also give students the opportunity to practice riding in front of others, which can give them a little bit of taste of showing or competing. It's also great for the horses to give them that little bit of experience too, because there's both music playing, there's people that clap and applaud, and they're all watching you, and the arena is set up a little bit differently. So it's fun for the horses to go in, but it's a really supportive environment because if things aren't going well, you can change your routine, you can stay in a little bit longer to make sure it finishes on a good note. So all in all, it's just a really fun thing that we do and just a great experience for both horses and students. Now we're going to switch gears into our winter camp. So this is little Alfie taking part in camp, which is super exciting because our last camp, he rode with staff being part of summer camp. He would walk around, and now he's actually in camp, which is pretty exciting. And in our camp, we get a lot of first-time beginners, and we do a lot of walking and steering. This is a little bit of a taste of a trot where beginner riders, we like them to experience trot even if they're not ready to trot on their own yet. We like to run with them in hand at the trot when they're ready, just so they experience what that movement feels like. And so if it accidentally happens, maybe because your horse spooks or they trip or whatever it is, you accidentally kick them, we don't want it to be a total shock or surprise. And it's a little bit fun for them too, but we do a lot of these steering exercises. So this is steering over poles, and they steer going like through the jump with the poles, and then they steer around the barrels and the boxes we have. So they do a lot of weaving, a lot of steering through the poles. They're also standing up as they go over the poles. So they're practicing getting up out of their stirrups. Here we're having a traffic jam, so they get to practice all halting in queue. Also going over the bridges, which is pretty funny because Alfie's like going over to the coach there to be like, hey, do you have a cookie for me? And then progressing to the point where here you can see the rider is actually steering on their own and no longer having a coach or a person right beside them to help guide them through all of the pieces. So we definitely start people off as needed with a person right beside them to help, and then we encourage them to get to this place where they can steer and do a lot more on their own. Of course, we have staff nearby that can definitely help. And Alfie did really, really well with following in a line or having horses behind him or in front of him. There you can see that the line's working through the little pattern. And this part's kind of funny. We were practicing kids falling off in different ways on purpose, but there her pants actually got caught on the stirrup. So she actually did kind of fall a little bit. And we do that so that way kids don't get so panicked about not getting off a horse properly, and falling is not as necessarily scary. And then we also practice rolling away from the horse as well, which would be the next step, which I didn't show you in this video. But I just really liked how tolerant Alfie was, that she was kind of like really close to him, and he's just like, okay, yep, no big deal. It really kind of shows you how far his training's come. As well as here, we're doing bareback riding, which is pretty exciting. So we do a little bit of bareback riding, especially in our camps. We like to give kids a little taste of doing bareback so they can really feel the movement of the horse underneath them. Most of the time we put kids or people in bareback pads because it makes it more comfortable for the horse to give them that little protection of their spine. That's my little daughter, Evie, riding her pony Dare, doing the bareback. And as they're doing this, they still do all of the steering exercises. Like here you can see they're steering through the pole zigzag because we want them to experience the turn so they can feel that a little bit. But also they get to have that little bit of a challenge because when you don't have your stirrups anymore, you need to rely a little bit more on your seat and your balance to keep you upright and keep you in the middle of the horse so you don't fall back at all. As well as getting to do the bridges. And then if people seemed ready and seemed balanced and comfortable, then we often would run beside them and let them try a little bit of trot as well, which I'm going to show you guys here. And we like to have them on a lead rope and going with us just in case they need us to stop or things like that. But again, letting them go for the trot, even if they're not ready to go all by themselves, bareback like this, it kind of tests it out, lets us be there for safety, and lets them feel what it's like, which really helps to develop that seat a little bit more. They learn to move with the horse. Now, Alfie makes it look super easy because he's actually pretty smooth to ride, both trot and canter. His gaits are pretty comfortable. And it's just really great for the students because they're getting to practice going with the flow of that rhythm, and they're learning to move their body with the horse and really getting to feel every little piece, but they don't get to rely on their stirrups to keep them in the saddle. They've got to rely on their balance and their seat position to keep them there. So it's a really great exercise for them. And then this rider was doing a really great job, so she got to go around trotting by herself bareback, which was pretty fun, even doing the poles as she's going around. And of course, we put the priority on steering. So it's like you've got to steer in these different directions. We've got these different visuals for you to steer around. So there, I had to slow down and correct where she was going. And then she gets to do other trots and other things as well. But we love to give kids and students visuals of boxes or jumps or pulls, things that they need to steer around. Nothing dangerous that they're going to get like caught on or be really super hard, but just to give them that little piece to know where they're supposed to go, and gives them visual targets of where to head to. So here she's got some poles that she's steering over, and you can see Alfie started to drift towards the middle. So instead of going fast, it's a matter of slow down and move over to where you want to go. And then he also did some bareback. We let the kids do a little swapperoo, or switcheroo as we call it, where we did a little activity. They got to have about 5 to 10 minutes on the horse taking turns. So they got to try different horses and different movements. So here I'm leading one of the younger riders in the group. And the fun thing about this is it allows horses to, the people to feel different strides. So this little one was riding our little pony Dare, which has a very little stride, and then you get to go on Alfie, who's the bigger pony, so you get to feel a nice big movement, or vice versa. If they were riding one of our big horses, Glimmer, and then get on Alfie, they feel a different movement entirely. So it really lets them experience different things. But we just do short sessions, and we give him cookies throughout, so that way he knows that he's doing an awesome job. So for example, here's a different rider trying him out, going for their walk as well as a little trot. And although I'm showing you lots of little clips of the trots, just because I'm so proud of how Alfie did with just being really tolerant and really calm, they don't trot for very long. It's not that we're running them around several times around the arena. They do mostly walking and steering and feeling that seat and balance. And then they get to do little dabbles in that trot. Of course, getting a cookie at the end of the trot, because we want to thank our horses for doing a great job. This is a rider now with stirrups and a saddle, so learning to work a little bit on that posting trot. And you can see it's hard when you're learning to posting trot. We do it at the walk as well, and then it's starting to do that at the trot is very tricky, and Alfie was super tolerant. So let me know what you guys think.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.